Well, hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about my strategies for making money as a field inspector. But before I jump into that, I do want to mention all of my mentorees and all of you who are just jumping out here on this game and taking control of it all. Congratulations to every single one of you. I am so happy and excited for you on your adventure. And those of you who are just starting out now as well in 2025. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump right into my strategies for making money as a field inspector. Okay, so the main strategy, okay, and probably, I guess we can say this will about sum it up, and that is do not sit on these files, okay? Do not sit on these files. If you are contracted through a company and they are giving you workload, I suggest that you don't sit on them and wait around. If you have a certain amount of money that you want to make in a month or in a week, you need to start making calls as soon as you get those files in your hands. When they give them to you and you download them, you need to start making calls, okay? Before I even download a file, I am already making calls. When I pull them up, before they start printing out on my printer, I already see the information there and I am calling right at that moment to just go ahead, bite the bullet, call the number on the file and see will someone answer. So hopefully you can get your appointment set up and ready to go, okay? Now, if you call these insureds and they don't answer their phone and you have to leave a voicemail, do not wait for days and days before you call again, okay? I would strongly suggest 2 days at the most on making your second phone call, okay? At first, I'm just gonna tell you what would probably work for you, and then I'm gonna tell you what all I actually do to make sure that I can get these done as quickly as I can. So after you make that first phone call, don't nobody answer the phone and you leave a voicemail, once again, within the next 2 days, you need to be making a call again. Every file, for those of you who have been doing field inspections for a while, you already know that on these files, they will tell you in order of how they want you to proceed when it comes to contacting the insured. It's gonna always tell you to call, and then it's gonna tell you to call again. Then it's gonna tell you to contact the agency for help if you need to. All right, so after that second call, and you don't get any type of response whatsoever, then of course you can follow those guidelines and call the agency. All right, so we already know that sometimes calling the agency can be just as bad as calling the insured. Okay, we call the agency, they don't answer the phone. Or we call the agency, we get a voicemail and we have to leave a voicemail and they don't respond to the voicemail. Or we call the agency and they answer the phone and they are absolutely no help at all. No offense to anyone who works at an agency, I'm just speaking truth. All right. But with that being said, you want to just follow the protocol, at least first off, to make sure that you are moving in a timely fashion. All right, but if you are actually doing it in that manner and that is not working, then I suggest you switch it up a little. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to talk about how I actually get down on making sure that I can get these appointments set so that I can make this money in a timely manner. Because the quicker, and this is true, the quicker you start to clear your files out and the company that you're contracted with see that you're clearing those files out, the more they're going to load to you as long as there's work in your area. They're not going to just be distributing those out to other people in the area because every time they go and take a peek in your files, you still got a whole bunch of them sitting in there. There's nothing wrong with them. Now, if there's something wrong with them and they're in the red and you need help with them or you're waiting on someone who's just not being cooperative, there's something different, okay? And they notice that as well, okay? But if there's nothing wrong with them and all you've done is made a contact here or there and it looked like they're just sitting around and just waiting on somebody to finally come and work with them at least a little bit on the second go round, they're not gonna upload you any more work, okay? And that slows down the money that you make as well. All right, so with that being said, if I make a call and they don't answer the phone and I leave a voicemail, if I don't send them an email because all of the files, well, not all of them, but the majority of the files will have an email on it for the insured as well. So if I call them and I leave a voicemail and they don't answer, they don't respond to my voicemail at all, by the next day, if they still have not responded, I will be sending an email, okay? Some days, depending on how I feel, I may send an email right after I leave that voice message. And the reason why I do that is because a lot of people just do not check their voice messages. Even though they're running a business, okay, they have a building somewhere that needs to be inspected. They have people who are probably calling them, needing their help all the time. They still won't respond to their voicemails. I can't make that make sense. Most of the time, remember, they will not answer their phone because it's a number that they don't recognize, all right? And if that's the case, then you really want to send them an email, because most people who are running a business, they check their emails often, and the likelihood that they'll see that before they even hear the voicemail is probably, a 99 and 100 chance. But either way you decide to do it, as a matter of fact, if you do it a different way, drop it in the comment section and let's talk about it, okay? Because this is something that has to be done in order for you to make the money. And I know a lot of people shy away from the phone. They wish to not have to make a phone call at all, okay? But unless you're doing drive-bys, you're going to have appointments. And the only way you're going to set an appointment is if you contact the insured. They're not responding, you're going to have to find some sort of avenue. Take one of them, whichever way you can, to see if you can get someone on the phone so that you can set this appointment up. And when you call them and they do respond and they say, well, what days do you have available? And you tell them what day and time you have available, whether you give them one out or you throw out a couple of days. If they want to throw it back 2 weeks out and you know that's not what you're trying to do, you're trying to make that money now. You don't want to be sitting on that file. Once again, there are several ways to sit on a file, and that's one of the ways that I hate. I hate when I have to just wait on an inspection. And sometimes there's no way around it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because sometimes the people who I'm contacting, that may be the only person who can actually come to the location with me. It is a locked location, which means I can't get in, even if I try, not even from the street, and they may be out of town. So therefore, I have to wait until they get back. But if they're in town, they need to prioritize that inspection, and you need to be the one to make sure that they know why it is important that they do so. So if they're trying to set their appointment out 2 or 3 weeks out, or even way over into the next following week, when you have scheduled available right now for them to take, then you need to be letting them know, no, we need to get this done by the end of this week or by the first of next week, if at all possible. Because this needs to be done now so that we can get this turned in order to save your insurance, okay? So you do what you need to do to make sure that you get those inspections done. Do not let them control the narrative. You are in full control of this situation, okay? Let's say, for instance, if you are watching TV one day and something happens, whether it's the weather, it doesn't matter what it is, and your television goes out because now your Wi-Fi box has went out, and you come to find out this thing is fried. All right, so you have to have someone come out. So whoever you have, Comcast, AT&T, Spectrum, it doesn't matter, and you have to have someone come out. So you call them and you tell them that I need a technician to come to my home. There's something wrong with my box. All right. Are they gonna tell you, well, what days can you do it? Well, what days can you be there? Okay, well, what time? Well, I have to work every day, and I don't get off until 5, and I may not get home until around 6 o'clock. So, I got to feed the kids, I got to cook and all of that, and help with homework, and, all this different type of stuff. Let me see. Let me check my calendar. Maybe we can fit it in on Friday around 7. How that sound? They're going to be like, girl, get up out of here. I'm not sending a text to your house at 7 o'clock on Friday night. They're not even going to give you an option. They're going to tell you what day and time that they have available. And you either going to need to be there or have an adult there to open the door when they come. If you don't, you have what? Missed your appointment. Why? Because they are doing you a service. You're not doing them one. And you need to look at your field inspections the same way. You're doing them a service. They're not doing you one. So you need to keep control of the narrative when it comes to setting up your appointments. That way you make sure you knock this stuff out. Y'all know, y'all already know. I know y'all enjoy all of that, okay? And I hope these tips you guys find informative. With that being said, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, because you know I'm going to be bringing you something back later. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.